On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. One-of-a-kind opinions, big-name guests, the teams you care about every day. It's the Ron Johnson Show, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Ron Johnson Show, and I'm your host, Ron Johnson. We're going to have my producer, Sam Ekstrom, come on later. Why? Because he's going to hate in the first segment. He always hates on Kirk Cousins, and it's a Kirk Cousins type of morning. Why? Betting is out. Prop bets. Training camp, July 30th. So we know everybody's getting ready for these prop bets. Why not go throw $100 on Kirk Cousins? And I'm going to tell you exactly where to put your money. It is a guaranteed payback. Like, the over-under set for Kirk Cousins, it seems a little bit like clickbait. Like, is there going to be can I get my ticket back if he gets hurt? Because if he plays all 17 games or even 16 games, so over-under seems a little bit too easy to be true. But we're going to talk about those numbers. We're also going to talk a little bit about Ben Lieber, one of my, I guess we're co-hosts or we're show contributors for the Vikings. And he made headlines with some stuff that, honestly, we already knew. Like, Everson Griffin said it a long time ago. Everybody said it before, But, hey, why not be sensational right before training camp starts? And then we're gonna have the Daily 3 coming up later, a little home run derby, Byron Buxton, of course, and then Justin Jefferson, Madden. It's Madden time. Right before training camp, all the veterans, all the rookies are getting those consoles, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox or laptop, they're getting their consoles ready for training camp. But before we jump into this Kirk Cousins easy bet segment, this is an easy bet. Easy. I would put $100 on every single one of these right now. Easy. We're going to have a word from our sponsors with Sam Ekstrom.
Thanks, Ron. Hindsight is 20/20, and you can't change the past. But what if you could get a little help from your future self? Maybe you'd ask to borrow a little cash. Well, now you can with Dave, a banking app that can help you get up to $500 instant dollars with extra cash. That's more money to fill your tank. Gas is expensive. Buy a wedding gift. Catch up on bills. You can tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out without any hang-ups. There's no interest and no credit check needed. Millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app to get the financial relief they need with extra cash. So if you're in a pinch, download Dave and think of it as a helping hand from future you. Download the Dave app from the App Store right now, D-A-V-E, Dave. Sign up for an extra cash account and get up to $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. Future you will thank you.
So as we jump into this daily topic, we're about to jump into the daily topic. Sam, you tell me what the over-under is for Kirk Cousins, and I'm going to tell you where I'm going to put my money, because this is simple to me. But you tell me, where are we at? Where are we at with Kirk Cousins?
Here we go. The over-under, drum roll please, for Kirk Cousins' passing yardage this year, 4,150.5 yards. So for context, Kirk Cousins last year, 42.21. Year before that, 42.65. Year before that, 36.03. Dropped off a little bit. And the year before that, 42.98. So 3 of his 4 years in purple, he has exceeded this total. 4,150 is the number. Over-under for touchdowns, Ron. Yesterday, you were touting a 40-touchdown season. The over-under is 31.5. And interceptions, and this is, I think, the most interesting one, Ron, because if we're passing more, then the interceptions might go up. 10.5 is the interception over-under. So tell us where to spend the money, oh wise one. Where can we get rich on Kirk Cousins?
Well, I mean, if you can't go hindsight and go get a bank to give you money and, all that stuff, go front foresight. I'm going to give you the foresight. Here you go. Kirk Cousins, 4,100 yards. You bet the over. Here's why. The Rams, since 2019, so you go all the way back to 2018, 2018, they threw for 4,500 yards. That's Jared Goff. You telling me Kirk Cousins can't do that? The next year, they threw for 4,400 yards. That's still Jared Goff. The next year, now 4,000. So basically almost 4,014 yards. Jared Goff wasn't that good. 20 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. He wasn't that good. Like that's why they would have got Matthew Stafford. And then Matthew Stafford comes in, 4,600 passing yards. So you're trying to tell me that Kirk Cousins, a guy in his career so far, last year, 42. Year before that, 42. Now, 2019, a little bit of a drop-off. That was kind of the first 2 years. That was the first year of that weirdness, 3,600 yards. But then 4,200 yards his first year with the Vikings in 2018. 4,000 yards with the Commanders. 4,900 yards with the Commanders. 4,166 with the Commanders. Those are his all-starting years. He's literally every bit of right at it except for 2019, which, I mean, that was we got to run the ball year. Like, we got to run the ball because we're going to run the ball. I mean, that's what it was. Let's be honest. And so if you think about Kirk Cousins, he's going to go for 4,200 plus yards. That's easy. So bet the over there. 10.5 interceptions. Bet the over. Now we know last year he only threw 7 interceptions on 33 yards. So that is a tricky one. But he's thrown 13 in 2020. He threw 6 in 2019. Again, being conservative, being the Kirk that they didn't want him to be. 10 in 2018. So that is the tricky one. That's the one where I just say go over because I feel like they're going to throw the ball a lot more. And you got to have a coach saying, hey, take a chance, bro. Like, take a chance. I don't care if you throw a pick. I'm with you. You're my boy. I'm a QB. I get it. This happens. Because with the Commanders, it was 13, 12, and 11 interceptions as a starter. My guess is it's going to be a similar type of production. I think I said like under 15 interceptions. I think I actually said under 20 interceptions with 40 touchdowns. But under 15 interceptions with 40 touchdowns. Touchdowns 31.5. Go after it. I mean, 33, 35, 30. And then the 26 year, whatever. But 33, 35, and 30. 35 and 33 were Justin Jefferson. So is it going to change with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne and the coach that wants to throw you the ball and the coach that likes you? No. Bet the over. The interceptions one, I can't really – I mean, hey, you think what you think. I'm going to say over just because I think the production is going to go up, so interceptions is going to go up. His passer rating the last 3 years, 103, 105, 107. Come on now. Like, this seems too good to be true. But, again, I don't know the rules on injuries. Like, if he gets hurt a couple games, do I get my ticket back? Is there a asterisk by it? But that's where I'm going to tell you to bet. Sam, where are you going to tell them to bet? Because we know you're a hater. So you hate on Kirk Cousins every chance you get. So let's go.
It's hard for me to disagree with you. It really is, because it's not like there's a big concern about injury. Obviously, injury is the thing that could derail this bet. But Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt. The only thing he could get is COVID, which he got last year. He missed a game. He still passed 4,200 yards. Here's a stat that I really thought summarized the Vikings. This is from Warren Sharp, who's a big analyst. Second down run rate after an incompletion. So basically 2nd and 10. Giants, 70%. Lions, 66%. Tennessee, 65%. Vikings, 64%. So 4th most, they would run the ball on 2nd and long. Now look at the teams that chose to pass the ball in those situations. Tampa Bay, 89%. Cincinnati, 82%. Kansas City, 79%. Arizona, 78%. Rams, 75%. These are the best offenses in the league. And you know how they are such good offenses? Because they pass when they need to pass on 2nd and 10.
Correct.
The Vikings are not going to fall into that trap again of running it on 2nd and long. That was a huge problem last year. It's not going to be a problem this year. They're going to throw it in the correct situations, and I think that's going to really solidify Kirk Cousins as a 4,000-yard passer. So, I mean, the only thing that holds him back, Ron, other than getting hurt, are they going to have a lot of leads late in games? Are they going to be taking the air out of the football? Because last year they had to throw it in the 4th quarter a lot of the time because the games were close or they were behind. Are they going to have more leads this year? Because the 2019 stat where he only had 3,600 yards, like there were a couple games where he only had to throw it 10 times because they were just running the ball in the 3rd and 4th quarters. So that's the other thing that could derail it. But I would definitely be placing the bet on the over on yards, probably the over on touchdowns, And the interception one, I think probably over on that too. I would go flat out over, and just assume that quantity is going to lead to some pretty big raw totals.
Yeah, and look at Jamar Chase. I mean, look at the production he had. The reason was because they stretched the field. We know Justin Jefferson has been chomping at the bit for an offense like that. I mean, he even said it without saying it in so many words. You know, he talked about Burrow and how him and Jamar Chase are boys, and it's always because people try to make controversy about that. Like, is Kirk Cousins saying Joe Burrow's better than Kirk Cousins, or is Jefferson saying Joe Burrow's better than Kirk Cousins? No, he was just saying, look at how they get along. They're boys. They went to college together. They're young. They like to do the same stuff. They both, Ice Joe. He's showing up in gold diamond chains with Jordan 1s and a suit. He's doing the stuff that he sees from previous Joes in the NFL. If you look at Joe Namath, you look at Joe Montana, some of the cool situations they had. He was trying to be Joe Cool. Kirk Cousins is not that guy. He has a minivan. He's a family man. He's not hanging out with Justin Jefferson playing Madden, whereas Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are. So that's what Justin Jefferson was trying to get at. So what does that mean? Well, hey, now let's figure out a way, man. Like, we're not going to connect off the field like that, but how can we connect on the field? Hey, Coach O'Connell, how can we create some plays so me and Kirk are on the same page so that when I'm wide, I'm wide open. I was going to say, I'm not going to use that language, but if I'm wide the heck open, you're going to hit me for the record. Like, everybody remembers that crossing route where Justin Jefferson was wide open, and I think that was like the record he needed or something, or that was the pass could have broke the record. And he throws it to like KJ Osborne or Adam Thielen or something. It's like, come on. Like, read the room, bro. Like, he's wide open. And it's Justin Jefferson. I don't care if there's 4 people on him. He's going for the record, and this is my moment. Like, this could be that One Shining Moment song playing as Justin Jefferson catches it and the confetti falls and the NCAA people come run out on the court. Kirk Cousins missed the throw, but Kevin O'Connell is not going to let that happen. Why? Because Mike Zimmer was not about that life. Like, he wasn't about that Kirk Cousins life, about that big pass game life, about that I'm a former quarterback life where my offense is going to run my team and the TV are going to, like the Rams, we only talked about Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Jalen Ramsey because of who they are and their big personalities. I mean, there was a tweet recently from Camardi and Dre Bly and these guys, and then what's his name? Ashanti Samuel went on a podcast talking about how he had better numbers, he had better stuff, but these young guys have created these personas because of social media to get money. And Jalen Ramsey, he was knocking at Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey just said, hey, appreciate it. Thanks for the shout out. He's like, I'm not going to get into this argument with you. Like, fine, say whatever you want. I'm a Super Bowl champion too. Like, I make plays, but I make more money than you. And Ashanti Samuel saying, like, if I was in today's era, I would be the highest paid corner. Like, that's how he feels. And Dre Bly and a lot of these guys and Champ Bailey are starting to chirp back like, hey, he might be right, man. These young guys are not as good as we were. They weren't playing like we were playing. And so, and some guys try to say, oh, I don't get the ball thrown my way, blah, blah. We're not going to get into that. Long story short, Kevin O'Connell is about that life. He is in this. He's entrenched in this. He wants to be that quarterback's coach. He wants to make Kirk Cousins the next best. Kirk Cousins is going to benefit from that, and we're going to see that on the field. We're going to see that with these stats. The one way, and you said 64% run on second down and long compared to 75% with the Rams. It's not a big number, but it is when you think about how many plays are in that percentage. How many times can you go for, an 8-yard pass to get the 3rd and 2 versus a 2-yard run and you're on 3rd and 8? At the end of the day, Kevin O'Connell knows what to do right. And you said handing the ball off late in games. The best handoff sometimes is a quick pass to the left where there's nobody covering the guy. You can see Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow do that all the time. You see Tom Brady do that with his receivers all the time. You see Aaron Rodgers always run that little shallow route, and we all are like, 2nd and 10, and he just ran a drag route or a flat route. Why isn't anybody? It's a pick play. It's just like a run. I'm going to just dump it out quick to Devontae Adams, and I'm going to let him get me 7 yards versus handing it off and have to go through the trenches. That's the things that Kevin O'Connell is going to do that the Vikings got away from. The quick hitch, the quick slant. We didn't do quick game stuff here. It became this, I got to create this great play every single time. No, sometimes you just got to give it to your star and let them go to work. That's why Justin Jefferson's going to have like as many catches probably as Jamar Chase, because now he's going to get those smokes. He's going to get those tunnel screens. He's going to get those quick one-hitters when Kirk Cousins sees too many in the box. He's just going to tap that helmet, and Justin Jefferson knows, hey, he's coming to me. I got a one-step, boom, get it. Just like Randy Moss. Make somebody miss. Who knows what can happen after that? And that's what's going to happen.
Quick interruption to tell you about betonline.net, your number one source for all betting needs and sports info. Good time right now to take inventory of what the lines are at betonline.net. Get ready for the second half of the MLB season. Look ahead with some NFL futures. You got esports, you got MMA, you got golf. The last major of the year just got done. It's still your best spot for all the sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. Bet online, where the game starts.
But now, as we jump into this Ben Lieber conversation, Sam, Ben Lieber, I don't know what's wrong with Ben Lieber, man. I get it, though. Like, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. And Ben Lieber has had issues with former coaches before. I think what was the guy's name? Childress. Yeah, him and Childress got into it, where Childress made a comment about this blog, Lieber this, Lieber that, just trying to create drama. Lieber doesn't shy away from it. Like, he's now become that personality where he's like, look, Skip Bayless got paid for being that guy. Shannon Sharp says the stuff. Barkley says the stuff. So Ben Lieber's like, hey, might as well just start throwing some stuff out there too. You got to be controversial. You got to say this stuff. But Ben Lieber is saying nothing besides what happened with Everson Griffin. We saw that. Mike Zimmer never, ever came out and said that he did not believe in or say what Everson Griffin said. Rick Spielman never came out and said Everson Griffin is wrong. Everson Griffin never came out and said Everson Griffin is wrong. Everson Griffin said, I apologize to Kurt for it coming out the way it did. That's what he said. If you read the actual apology, he said, I apologize for it coming out the way it did. This should have been in-house. He never said it wasn't true. He didn't say, oh, Mike Zimmer never, Mike Zimmer wants Kirk. I'm lying, guys. I'm sorry. I had a moment. No. He said it should not have come out that way. And this is the big FU from Mike Zimmer to Kirk Cousins. After Everson Griffin flat out embarrassed Kirk Cousins on social media to the whole world, Mike Zimmer didn't back up Kirk. Rick Spielman didn't back up Kirk. His teammates didn't even back him up. Like, they didn't even come out and say, hey, man, coach likes. No, what did he do? He went and got the guy a job. Like, thanks for saying what I couldn't say, Everson. Come on. Be a part of my team. Like, that's what Mike Zimmer did to Kirk. Like, he didn't protect him and say, hey, we don't need Everson. No, because Everson Griffin's good. So I don't care what he said. I don't care that he spilled the beans because I really don't like him. So let me go ahead and bring Everson in and throw more grease on this fire. Like, that's that. Like, you ever seen that meme of the guy throwing fries in a grease pot and then it explodes? That's what Mike Zimmer did with that. And then it just, from there, it became awkward and weird. They started having meetings together and watching film together. Why did it take so long? Why didn't you do it in 2018 and 2019? Why 2020? Like, what was the difference? Well, we're trying to find a way to make the media believe that we like each other. They don't. They really didn't. Like, I imagine it being like two old people that have been married for 70 years watching TV together. Zero conversation happening besides what's for dinner and the bare minimum. Like, when you're 89 and 90 and 100 years old and you're still married, it's not a lot to say. You're just like, hey, we're in this until it's over. And it's over now. Mike Zimmer's gone. Kirk Cousins has a new coach. But Ben Lieber is just saying what everybody knew. It's just now there's another way to blow it up and really just hit on it. And he didn't like them. But the Mike Zimmer supporters aren't going to, like, they're not going to go for that. They're not going to back that up. Now, some might try to jump on this train late, but those guys out there supporting Mike Zimmer, they're not going to do that. But Lieber knows, hey, Kirk's going to do better because he doesn't have that drama anymore. That's a lot of heat. But I don't know, Sam, what do you think? I mean, do you really think Mike Zimmer doesn't like Kirk Cousins, or do you think there's just another ploy to get some clicks?
Well, let me flip this on you. I mean, I think Ben Lieber speaks the truth, and I don't think it was a secret. Like, I think the writing was on the wall. What if Kirk Cousins just didn't like Mike Zimmer? I mean, what if it was a two-way street? And maybe Kirk's icy relationship with Mike, maybe that sort of led Mike to dislike Kirk. I mean, we don't really know where it started because Kirk comes in 2018 and things don't go well that year. Kirk throws a lot of interceptions, didn't take a lot of accountability that year. That was a big knock on him. And then 2021 comes around. Vaccination stuff goes down. And then from that point on, the iciness between the two was so evident. Kirk Cousins' dad was liking some anti-Zimmer tweets on Twitter, and then he deleted his account. There was that little episode. I think it's clear that it was a bad relationship. I don't think it was a secret, and I think it was far too – I mean, one of them needs to bury the hatchet at some point. Both of them needed to be bigger men and teammates and band together at some point, right, to right the ship, because there's a lot of drama in football locker rooms. You know, there's stuff going on with Everson Griffin. There's Stephon Diggs saying there's truth to all rumors. You've got off-the-field stuff. You've got different egos at work. You need to have a kumbaya relationship with the coach and the quarterback for the betterment of the whole team. And neither of them, and I think Kirk is part of this problem, neither of them were able to solve their differences. And I think some of it's on Mike, and I think some of it's on Kirk too. And I think it's easy to make Mike the villain because Mike is the grouchy one, and Mike is the one who values defense over offense. But I think there's a little bit of Kirk at fault here too. So I'm not going to be all rosy about Kirk Cousins today. I got to give him some blame as well.
I could see that. And like, just to be clear, though, he threw more interceptions in 2020 than he did in 2018. He only threw 10. But to your point, it was the way some of these games went. And I think that was the 2018 start of it. When you think about the Bears, both games they lost to the Bears, 24-10, which that was kind of we must win and we're in the playoffs, and they lost. And then the Bears, I think, went and played the Saints on Nickelodeon for the slime game. And then you got the Vikings, Bears, what was that, 25-20. And of course they do what they do. They beat the Packers 24-17. That was also, if I'm not mistaken, that was the kicker year too, because you had the 29-29 Packers game where the kicker missed a bunch and he got rid of Daniel Carlson. So that was a little bit of it. You had the Rams kind of debacle, with the Rams beating the Vikings 38-31, and Mike Zimmer's defense started to get exposed. I think you're right. It could have, because who knows what Kirk Cousins was saying in those instances where the Bills beat him 27-6. The Rams beat them, put up 38 points on them. Because I think at that point you have Vikings and Kirk Cousins apologists saying, yeah, Kirk Cousins can't win games. But of course, the Vikings defense is giving up 38 points, 37 points, 24 points. That's one of those things. You give up 24 points to the Patriots. You do put up 41 on the Dolphins, but then you give up 21 to the Seahawks. So it's like, who are you? Like, which team is it? And 49ers they beat, but then you turn around and you look at the Packers. It was night and day. I think that was the Josh Allen rookie year too, the 27-6. That was the big one where Josh Allen
hurdling Anthony Barr.
So who knows how Kirk Cousins felt in that moment too, being his first year with the Vikings, supposed to be coming to a team that's defensive led. We've heard guys say, I didn't see Mike Zimmer anywhere near the offensive meetings or, speaking to me as an offensive player in the hallway. So there was a lot of things that culturally that were old school. Because, I remember being back with the Ravens. I don't remember being too rosy and happy and conversational in the hallway. The staff, yeah. Some of the coaches that you knew, yeah, you would give them a nod or what's up or, other than that, man, these coaches are looking at papers, head down. I know for me as a young coach with the Colts, it was opposite. I think players forget this. When I'm walking through the halls, I'm not speaking to players because I'm looking at them like you're superstars. I'm just the, offensive assistant. I'm with paper, Xerox, and I'm just trying to get to my next meeting to hand papers to coaches so I can sit in the back of the room and take notes and pay attention to what Peyton Manning's about to say. So there's two sides of this sometimes that players forget. Some coaches might feel like players don't want to be bothered. Like you're showing up early for work. Sometimes hey, let me let this guy decompress before we get on the field or before we go to meetings. There's a lot to it. But again, at the end of the day, and you're married, Sam, it's about communication. Nobody knows what they don't know until they communicate. You don't know what you don't know until you communicate. So the lack of communication between Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins, there is something to that. And it just grew and grew and grew. And I hate to throw this out because, a lot of people aren't fans. I am. I'm a Kim Kardashian and Kanye West fan. Kim just came out and said her and Kanye didn't talk for 8 months. Imagine what that could have done if they had actually talked. You don't talk for 8 months, of course. And when you're in that world, when you're a billionaire already, or your family is a millionaire, you're 100 whatever millionaire, 8 months of not talking, you just feel like I don't need you. I got 4 kids. I can take care of them. I got money. I got nannies. I got, live in everything. Like, I don't need you. And I think that's what happened. She even said it, like, we weren't living in the same state. That's the same type of communication I think that happened with Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer. They became separate. Now, I don't know who's Kanye in this situation. I'm guessing Zimmer, because he would be the more like, whereas Kirk Cousins is like Kim K. She just wants to be loved. Kirk Cousins just wanted to be loved, and he wasn't getting it. Kevin O'Connell's going to love up on him. But hey, it's that time, Sam. And now, Sam Ekstrom, take it away.
The home run derby was last night, Ron Johnson. Juan Soto of the Nationals was the victor. And my question for you is this. Is the home run derby the best skills competition in sports? You've got dunk contest, three-point contest. I know in the NHL they've got the slap shot contest. NFL hasn't really figured it out. I mean, I know they've done some pass, punt, and kick concepts in the past. No one really gets too into that. So where does the home run derby rank in your book in terms of all-star weekend festivities?
Yeah, so this is what I say. A lot of times when you talk about old school versus new school, a lot of old school people try to defend their era. I will say this. In that instance, in these contests, the old school got it right. The dunk contest with your best dunkers and your most like celebrated players, Michael Jordan, Dominique, LeBron James, like the LeBron should have been in the dunk contest at least 3 to 4 times. Like that to me was frustrating. When you look at Jordan, Dominique, Spud Webb, like I feel like they captured the moment. Even Vince Carter, like that probably was the best one. Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine probably was the last time the dunk contest was like relevant. The 3-point contest, same thing. Like it's got to always be Steph Curry and Clay. Like you keep the best shooters in it. I don't care about these new guys that can shoot. I want to see the best shooters and the guys that are going to bring the most to it. The NFL used to do it great back in the day. Again, the quarterback challenge where they had to hit a target, run through stuff, all that stuff for time. Accuracy, how many targets can they hit? Like now they're getting too Nickelodeon-ish with like spinning wheels and trying to break paper. Like that's the stuff for me where the old school got those right. So in the instance of the home run, they're almost losing it. Like I don't understand all the points they're throwing out there. It's way too many like hit until you can't hit anymore. It becomes an endurance test. Like I get it, but Juan Soto, not only did he turn down $440 million, he's now putting on a show. People are saying, like, is he worth $35 million a year? Is he worth $30 million a year? At the end of the day, dude, I would take $440 to play with the Nationals. But if he's going to get more and he can sit out and not get hurt, because that's the key. Everybody's like, he should do this. If he gets hurt, it doesn't matter what he should do. Like, it only takes one idiot to hurt him, throw a pitch at him, to him get slid into or slide into somebody or celebrate too hard. Like, you just don't know. Get in a car accident. Like, $440 million. I don't care if I can get another $3-4 million a year. Like, give me the $440 now. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Like, I don't understand why people don't get that. Say whatever you want to say. But who did it best? Yes, the MLB still has it now because they've kind of stuck to their format. The other leagues, they're kind of getting a little outrageous.
Yeah, I'm with you that the home run derby format has gotten confusing. I'm drawn to the 3-point contest now. Like, all the stars are in the 3-point contest. The dunk contest has gotten so anonymous. I don't know a lot of the dunkers. Like you said, a lot of the stars don't do it. And I don't think we've had a great one in about a decade. So 3-point contest is right up there with the derby for me. Speaking of the All-Star game, Byron Buxton was elevated into the starting spot to replace the injured Mike Trout. 20 years ago, Ron, I can't believe it was that long ago, but Torrey Hunter was the starting center fielder, goes back in the first inning, leaps over the wall, and robs Barry Bonds in his all-star debut of a home run. What do you expect from Byron Buxton, another great electrifying center fielder, tonight in the all-star game?
Well, don't get hurt. Like, you're playing for a hurt guy, and Mike Trout, due to injury, that probably means like, look, I'm not going out here and doing anything to hurt myself when I'm trying to continue to play. Byron Buxton's on a special team. They're still in the lead, even though it's only 2 games. Don't go out there and try to become the the All-Star game MVP. I know you win stuff, maybe a car, some money or something. I know home run derby was $1 million. Now that's ridiculous. I definitely would have went for that. But MVP, Like if you hurt yourself trying to be the MVP of an all-star game, that's like trying to, take your kids out just to win at Monopoly. Like at the end of the day, was it worth it? Probably not. Or like winning an argument with your wife. It's not worth it. Like, what's the point? Like, you win, and then you're the winner of nothing. You are literally the winner of absolutely nothing, and you have to, like, awkwardly try to, like, make her feel better because you won. You demoralized her in this victory of an argument that you finally won. Like, who cares? Like, so the All-Star game, my hope is that he doesn't get hurt. Like, don't get hurt. Like, that's the whole goal. Do not get hurt. But at the end of the day, I expect him to, make a play here and there, show some speed, maybe hit a bomb, and, just come back to Minnesota healthy.
Yeah, I know Buxton has been struggling at the plate lately. He's still on that kind of rehab plan to limit his reps. I don't know who the American League manager is, but I have a feeling that Rocco Baldelli might have had a friendly phone call to say, hey, Mr. Manager, could we maybe just get him one at bat and then replace him? We don't want him running the outfield. We don't want him running the bases. We need him to get 5 days of rest right now. So if Byron Buxton can just get in, get out, maybe get a hit, they can pinch run for him. Don't put any more stress on the guy. I mean, the Twins have until Saturday, I think, when they restart. Byron Buxton needs to get off his feet for 4 days and get right, because the Twins need him. I mean, he was a borderline liability at the plate for the Twins in the last few weeks. They got to get him right, because when he's playing well, the team wins. And when he's not, they're very ordinary. So let's get Byron Buxton back in a place where he can run the outfield the way he wants to. He can hit the way he wants to. He can stop striking out so much. I think there was a lot of mental taxing on Buxton in the first half of the year with all of the in the lineup, out of the lineup, playing through injuries. So let's just get that guy healthy. Last one for you, Ron, on the Daily 3. I know you'll have an opinion on this. Justin Jefferson's Madden rating is out. He received a 93, which is far from the best. I think Devontae Adams got the full 99. Adam Thielen also followed up with an 88. Ron, in the latest wide receiver controversy, what do you think of the Madden ratings?
So when I look at, and I was going to go to Jamar Chase, I forgot to do the Jamar Chase tweet, because Jamar Chase is the one that has also been lighting up the Twitters. And so he's lighting up the tweets about the Madden rating. So when you look at the top 10, you got Devontae Adams at 99, Cooper Kupp at 98, Tyreek Hill at 97. That's where I think they messed up right there. Like, I get they're going in order, like they're taking one off for each guy. It's okay to have, I know they don't, it's tough. You don't want to have 299 guys, because then that doesn't help your Madden, like what you've done in the past. Now, we know there's updates. So as the season goes on, guys can up their rating. They can do stuff to get their catches up. They can do stuff to get their speed up, all that kind of crap, because that's the whole purpose for Madden, to be able to get people to get these updates. And then all of a sudden your roster gets better, because Justin Jefferson goes from a 93 to a 98. I think Justin Jefferson, looking at Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, and Jamar Chase not even being on this list. Come on now. Like, let's be real. Like that's why I don't even take any, like, I don't care about this list. Like, if you don't have Jamar Chase on this list, it's not a list. Like that like, you got Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans over over Jamar Chase. Like, come on. I get he's a rookie, and I get he has to earn his bones. Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill shouldn't be ahead of those two. Like, they put, and here's the thing, it is a video game. So let's be honest. They put a lot into speed into this video game. Because when you're fast like Tyreek Hill, that's why he got a 97, because of his speed. Because in Madden, you can throw one route and then just run around the field like crazy. You can't do that in real life, because there's everybody's their own controller. In that game, the only one person can really control one guy, and then his computer's controlling the rest, and they're getting juked out by Tyreek Hill doing this running routes. Same thing. These are grown men guarding you and changing the play. So so in my opinion, it should have been Devontae Adams 99, Cooper Kupp 98, Justin Jefferson 98, Stephon Diggs 98, Jamar Chase 98. And then from there, you can move these guys up. Like DeAndre Hopkins, 96. I think that's fine. I think Tyreek Hill should have been more like a 95. Mike Evans should have been more up in 95. Terry McLaurin can go up to 93. Keenan Allen definitely is disrespected. He's one of the best route runners in the NFL. He should be a 95 because they don't put anything into route running, because in Madden, you don't run real routes all the time. It's post, it's comeback, it's curl, it's go. You don't have some of the stuff these guys can do, like Keenan Allen being a runner in and then an out cut. I mean, a deep in. We've all seen that video. So Justin Jefferson has a point, but Jamar Chase has a bigger point. So Justin Jefferson too low. Adam Thielen, I think, just right.
Safe to say that Justin Jefferson is underrated because he does everything well. But I don't know if he does any one thing spectacularly like Tyreek Hill's speed. I think he's just really good at everything. And for some reason, that underrates him.
And that's why I say that's I don't even know the word I'm trying to think. That's hockey puck. I don't even know it's a word, but I mean it's fugaziness. Like it's just bad. It's bad. It should not happen. Poppycock. That's the word. Not hockey puck. It's poppycock. That's the word. It's terribleness. But that's do it for the Ron Johnson Show today. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. That's Matt, our producer, back in the studio, getting us up and down. We want to thank you guys. This is the Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast Network. We are the Ron Johnson Show, and we want to thank you guys for continuing to download, subscribe, listen, watch us on YouTube. Please continue to do it. Share it. Tell a friend, and make sure they comment as well. Have a great day.